meeting to order. It is 7:31. This is the regular meeting, City Council meeting of October 12th. Clerk, can you please take a roll call?
Councilman Bliss.
I'm here.
Councilman Clark. Councilman Corbett.
Here.
Councilman Gettings.
Here.
Councilor Rohrbach.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Soltis.
Here.
Mayor Grafstein.
I'm here, thank you. Can I please have a motion to excuse Councilwoman Clark? She did give notice.
Your Honor,
Councilor Rohrbach.
I move that we excuse Councilwoman Clark from attendance this evening.
Thank you. Is there support?
Your Honor.
Mayor Pro Tem Soltis?
Support, please.
Thank you. Is there any discussion? All right, seeing none. Clerk, can you please take a roll call vote?
Councilman Bliss.
Yes.
Councilman Corbett.
Yes.
Councilman Gettings.
Yes.
Councilor Rohrbach.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Soltis.
Yes.
Mayor Grafstein.
I vote yes, motion carries. Thank you. The invocation this evening and Pledge of Allegiance will be led by Councilman Bliss. Mr. Bliss.
Heavenly Father, we come to you today asking for your guidance, wisdom, and support as we begin this meeting. Help us to engage in meaningful discussion, allow us to grow closer as a group, and help us to nurture the bonds of community. Let us to remember that this day, every minute of it is important and is filled with countless new and exciting opportunities to make our city and world better. Help us to see the significance of even the smallest piece of positive change and work with us to turn one single seed of love, compassion, or kindness into the future that our children deserve. Fill us with your grace tonight as we make decisions that affect the residents of Madison Heights, and continue to remind us that all that we do here today, everything that we accomplish, is to make our community a more prosperous one with each and every passing day. We ask these things in your name. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of
States
America
of America
and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. All right, approval of the agenda.
Your Honor.
Mr. Corbett.
Yeah, I would ask to move an item or to create an item C2, which will be a motion to approve nominations that we expect will be forthcoming from the mayor regarding spots on the Downtown Development Board.
Thank you. Is there support?
Ms. Grafstein,
Mr. Gettings.
I'll support.
Great, thank you. A motion has been moved and supported to add item C2 to the agenda. This would be for the DDA appointments. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, clerk, can you please take a roll call vote?
Councilman Corbett.
Yes.
Councilman Gettings.
Yes.
Councilor Rohrbach.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Soltis.
Yes.
Councilman Bliss.
Yes.
Mayor Grafstein.
I vote yes, motion carries. Thank you. Are there any other additions or deletions? Okay. Seeing none, we're going to go to presentations. First up is a proclamation thanking the volunteers of Trail Tunes 2020. Mrs. Marsh, do you have a report?
Yes. So for anybody who attended the October 3rd meeting, I don't have to tell you what a fabulous event that was for music and food. So tonight, City Council is approving a proclamation to thank the volunteers. Whereas volunteering of an individual's time and resources has become an essential part of the Madison Heights spirit. And volunteers show every day through their actions that they truly care about their community and the people who live in it. Whereas the volunteers have been playing a larger role in restoring the quality of life services in our community by filling the gaps that the city has been unable to fill. And whereas the Arts Board, led by the Festival Planning Committee of Mark Bliss, Vita Pelzalo, Steve Dombrowski, I apologize if I'm butchering these names, and Jason Theodroff, organized the city's first Trail Tunes event, allowing for COVID precautions while offering the attendees an excellent event. And whereas this event attracted over 500 attendees with 15 musicians performing 300 songs, and whereas almost 100 kid crafts and 600 total games were played at the event and fun zones that were operated by the Madison Heights PTO, the Escape Room Zone in Madison Heights, the Madison Heights Goodfellows, and the Red Oaks Church. And whereas hundreds of meals were sold from 3 food trucks, the Grill Wrap, Motor City Sweet Treats, and the Salt and Sugar Company, whereas city communities participated, raised over $2,000 to support pop-up sales in Madison Heights, including the Madison Heights Arts Board, the Environmental Citizens Committee Bloom Project, and the Friends of the Library. And whereas this event was 100% funded by donations and volunteers, with the donors Alternative RX, Giffords Webster, Clark's Fabrication and Design, Interstate Auto Care, and Woodpile Barbecue. And now, therefore, let us honor and thank those volunteers in our community who shared their time, energy, knowledge, and abilities to volunteer for this event, and all those who volunteer to give their time to make Madison Heights a better place to live. The City Council calls upon all citizens to help renew and sustain the Madison Heights spirit by committing themselves to address the needs of their community through voluntary action, such as those demonstrated for the Trail Tunes 2020.
Wow.
Thank you. What is the wish of council?
You don't need a.
Oh, we don't need a vote? Okay. Then I'd like to invite, can we invite discussion? I'd like to invite discussion from council.
Sure.
Okay. Anyone from council would like to speak?
Your Honor,
Mr. Bliss, please, go ahead.
I'd be happy to jump in. First off, one thing in the proclamation, the coach was also a sponsor. So let's make sure that we can get that edited in as we send this out to all the, the volunteers and the sponsors. I'd love to be able to make copies available, because as was mentioned, this was done completely powered by volunteers and donors, people who really care about the city and wanted to see this event take place. And it's an event that we needed. Our community has been through so much this year. We started off with the so-called Green News incident. That was a great way to kick off the year. We thought the challenges would be behind us. Nope, we had to get a pandemic on top of that, which has been quite the challenge, not just in the city itself with staff resources and some of the budget challenges that have come with it, but also with every person at home and a new way of life. Everything has changed. And so everybody talks about this new normal. It was great to be able to provide a little bit of normal in the new normal, to be able to do a music festival that was safe. I was so appreciative of all of our neighbors. Everybody kept social distancing. Masks were worn when people were around other people, whether in the food lines or in the musician areas. It was just a really cool sight to see. My co-chair, Vita Palazzolo, and I, we had this initial idea, and honestly, we only thought that we'd have like 3 musicians in the park and maybe like 50 people would come out. But it was still worth doing with that. We thought, music heals, it inspires, and it brings people together. And we wanted to make sure that that was available. The second that we put it out there into the world, we saw how impactful it was going to be. We had like 36 musicians apply to be a part of the event, which was awesome to see. We had those donations that were talked about earlier come to our aid. As everything got bigger, it meant we needed things like restrooms to be able to make sure that those were available in the park. And we needed things for people to do even outside of the music. And so it was really cool to see all of that come together, see the community come together, see all of our boards and commissions take part in it. And then even, like the Madison School District PTO came on board, the Madison Heights Goodfellows came on board. It had such a community feel to it, which I'm so excited about. And I'm so thankful that council's joining together to commend the volunteers who put it on. It was a Herculean task for sure. That event got way bigger than we thought it would be, but I will tell you this, we know how big it's going to be next year. and we've already had our first planning meeting. So big thank you to the entire Arts Board, but specifically the rest of the planning committee, Vita, Steve, Jason, you guys did a phenomenal job, and I was so proud to work on that with you, and I'm excited for next year's event. And yes, for those in the public, we're doing this again. We've already kicked off planning. It'll be bigger and better and potentially in warmer weather. So stay tuned for that.
Great, thank you. I just want to echo, I just say ditto. I mean, I really couldn't say it any better. I contacted Councilman Bliss a few days later, and I said to him, we need to do a proclamation. We need to do something. And he said, okay, these were the main people who did this. Let's do this. I can definitely let you know how this all worked. And so I appreciate the work from the Art Board. And Mr. Bliss, this was great. I'm looking forward to next year. And yeah, I invite everybody to come out next year. I'm still working on the date, but I invite everyone to come out next year. It was fabulous. And it was nice to just see people doing normal things. You know, everyone was in masks. There were a couple people who weren't, but for the most part, everybody was in masks and being very cognizant and aware of where other people were. But it was great to see children playing and people just standing around talking and hanging out. So kudos to you and the whole group. Really appreciate what you did. Any other comments from council? All right, this is when I'm going to virtually shake hands with all of you and say thank you and hand you your proclamation, which I think Mrs. Marsh will make sure that we actually get this to you. So thank you everyone who was involved in that. All right, moving on, we have public hearings. Before I completely open this to the public, we do have a special guest this evening. It's Sue Wells. She is the Manager of Parks and Operations from Oakland County Parks and Recreation. And she's going to take a couple of minutes just to explain the upcoming Oakland County Parks and Recreation ballot proposal. Madison Heights residents benefit greatly from our relationship with Oakland County Parks and Recreation, and we have 4 Oakland County operated park facilities within our 7 square miles in this community. So Sue Wells, are you on? If you are on, if you would like to speak before we open it to everyone else in the public. And I believe you need to unmute yourself.
There, thank you. I appreciate the opportunity to be here this evening with me. He was having technical difficulties is Tom Hughes. And Commissioner Gary McGilvray, I don't know if you were on. Your commissioner for the city of Madison Heights serves as our Parks and Recreation chair. As you know, working with Gary, he's an advocate for recreation, not only for the city, but also for the county. And for that, we're very grateful. Oakland County Parks appreciates the relationship we have with the city. We feel that we are very good partners. We've had a very good working relationship with the recreation programmers, park staff, and administration. We really feel that it is a very true partnership that we have with the city. As indicated, we will be having our millage renewal November 3rd. And I just wanted to give a little highlight on that millage renewal. We're very blessed in Oakland County. We have over 90,000 acres of parkland. And within that, we have 4 operational park systems. We have the local CVTs, we have state parks, we have the Oakland County Parks, as well as the Huron Clinton Metropolitan Authority Park. So the residents of Oakland County are very blessed. Within Oakland County, we have 14 parks. We have over 80 miles of trails, 5 golf courses, 3 dog parks, 2 campgrounds, 2 water parks, and 20 mobile recreation units. We hire approximately 75 full-time staff and almost 700 part-time staff. We also utilize over 1,000 volunteers. Just a few upgrades since our last millage. We have taken over the operation of Red Oaks Nature Center in the park, which is approximately 38 acres. And this has been, as I indicated, a true partnership. We've also taken over the food and beverage operation at most of our parks. Catalpa Oaks, we've put in major improvements at the park in Southfield. The Red Oaks Dog Park, as well as the trail going in front of the park. And also entered into a relationship with the city of Royal Oak for investment into Normandy Oaks. Just a bit of the historical perspective of our park and our park millage. We were established in 1966. We had one park, 190 acres, and our millage rate was 0.25. And as we grew today, currently, we have 14 parks, almost 7,000 acres, and our current millage rate is 0.2310. So you can see, painting the picture, our parks have increased and our millage rate has decreased. Our millage covers approximately 50% of our operational budget. To paint a financial picture, we have put off approximately $20 million worth of deferred maintenance projects. We continue to have a shrinking capital budget for these new improvements. We also have unplanned repairs. For example, at the water park, if the wave making machine goes down, it's something you can't put off. You have to get it repaired, and that comes with a price tag. And we've also had increased maintenance. The number one thing that we do a community-wide assessment of what individuals and households would like to see in the county. And the number one thing is they want to see us reinvest in our park system and maintain our parks. We are going to the voters in November and asking for a 0.35 millage. What this means is it's approximately $12 more a year for a home valued at $200,000. Our current rate is a value of $25. So with the 0.35, it would be an additional $12. So this is what we are asking voters to pass. And the reason we are asking this is so we can reinvest in our park system. Currently, one of our major and only projects we're doing this year is we are reinvesting at Red Oaks Water Park. We are putting in approximately $1 million project. We are taking out the children's water feature, and we're putting in a large children's splash pad, as well as putting in a restroom near the splash pad. So this will be one of our major reinvestments that we are doing. We also want to reinvest in natural resources. So what are plan initiatives for you as a city council and a city? With a new increase in the millage, we will also be able to provide all seniors who live in Oakland County who are 62 or older an annual vehicle permit. We also will provide that complimentary pass to veterans and active military, as well as individuals with permanent disabilities. If our millage does pass, another program we have is a partnership program with local communities that could help communities reinvest in trails as well as invasive species removal. Many grants that are out there ask for a matching amount, and many communities don't have that matching amount. So this is something that we're looking at for local communities to come to the county to see through a program that we might be able to assist you with that matching amount. Our last thing is we want to assist more with programmatic activities. We are pretty busy in the city of Madison Heights, but if there are new program initiatives, we would love to meet with staff or community leaders. I just heard about a wonderful program and I'm thinking, did they ask us for anything? So these relationships continue to grow and we'd be more than happy to help you out. So I don't know if you have any questions about our millage, but I'd be more than happy to try and answer them.
Staff, is there any, or staff, council, is there any questions from any members of council? All right, thank you very much, Ms. Wells. We appreciate you coming this evening.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Okay, thank you everyone for that. We are now going to open to the public as we generally do, or as we usually do. We ask that you keep your comments to 3 minutes. Give us your name and your address or any affiliation with the city. And with that, I am going to open up. If you can wave or make some kind of motion so I can see if you would like to speak, I can call on you. Deborah Shepherd, did you put your hand up?
Yeah.
Yes, okay, please, yes, unmute, please go ahead. You're the one I saw. You unmute. You're on. Okay,
I have a
good.
question. Is this the time that I should be talking about the resolution about the Indigenous Peoples' Day?
Yes, absolutely, you can.
Okay,
This is
okay.
public comment. Please go ahead.
Okay, thank you. Deborah Jane Shepherd, Nadijinikos, Madison Heights, Dujaba, White Earth Nindao, Pillager Band Nindudum. Deborah Jane Shepherd is my name. I live in Madison Heights. White Earth is my tribal association. Pillager Band is my clan. Many, many years ago, when our grandmothers were little girls, this place where we stand today was the home of the people who called themselves Anishinaabe, the people. They called the earth Mackinac, the turtle, and they called their grandmothers Nokomis. At the end of the 15th century, when Christopher Columbus landed on the island of San Salvador, he did not discover an uninhabited wasteland waiting for civilization. He arrived in a hemisphere full of highly developed peoples with commerce and innovation and culture. While his arrival was momentous, the resulting colonization and assimilation left the people all but forgotten in their own homeland and reduced in the minds of many to stereotypes and mascots. At the beginning of the 20th century, my own grandmother was one of the children separated from her family when she was 8 years old, sent to live in a boarding school, to learn to speak English and to leave behind her Anishinaabe language and culture. Yet those efforts to erase the very existence of the first people were not successful. Anishinaabe still live here in this place, contributing to the life and culture of Madison Heights, Michigan, to the state of Michigan, and to the whole Great Lakes area, as do the First People nations throughout this country. Today, I know that you will be considering whether to recognize October 12 as an Indigenous Peoples' Day in Madison Heights. I am standing in support of that designation because it is time. It is time to give ourselves and our children and grandchildren an opportunity for a full understanding of our mutual history, so that we may be mindful of the first peoples of this land on which we stand, and to teach our children to respect them and honor them. Miigwech, thank you for your attention.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And I'm going to make one clarification. Right now, we're actually going to do public comment that is not regarding this resolution. But before we do vote on the resolution, we will open public comment specifically for that. So my apologies, but I do appreciate your comments, and they are definitely been taken into the record. So,
okay, thank you.
No, thank you. I appreciate that. Is there anyone who would like to speak not about Indigenous people right now?
Your Honor,
Clerk, yes, please.
if nobody else is speaking, I do have a comment that I received via email today.
Okay, can you wait 1 minute? Is there
I sure
anyone?
can.
Anyone
I have a comment.
Is that Kristin?
Yes.
Okay, please go ahead.
I live at 13 in Stevenson, and there has been a lot of speeding in my neighborhood, a lot of cars being broken into, and we pay a lot of city taxes. Can there be a step up in patrols, please?
If you want to email me with your address, I'm going to hope that you've already contacted the police, but if you want to email that, you have. Okay. All right.
But it's getting to the point, like, I'm working from home, and in my Ring camera, I see people daily speeding down through here. I have a 2-year-old, and he loves to be outside going on walks, but I'm scared to let him on the sidewalks because people are just zooming through here.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you for your comments. I can definitely pass that along to, we can pass that along to the police department to step up in your area.
All right, thank you. You said just email you?
If you've already contacted the police, then that's fine. I will get in touch with them about this.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you. Is there anyone else who has any other comments? All right, Mrs. Rotman, please go ahead.
Thank you. I received an email today from Mary Bush, and it says, "This is Mary Bush, 1117 East Hudson. First, kudos to the city leadership and volunteers on the morale boosting Trail Tunes event. I had a great time and acknowledge Councilman Mark Bliss for demonstrating his ability to inspire others, plan and execute a fantastic citywide event. Second, the Friends of the Madison Heights Library Book Sale, the annual fundraising event that provides monies for special library projects, will be this Saturday from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. and Sunday noon to 4 p.m. weather permitting. Due to COVID, we are not able to hold an indoor event, so we are adapting to still meet our fundraising goals. Thanks to the Trail Tunes pop-up sale and t-shirt sales, we have raised about 25% of our goal just to meet last year's funding. We plan on having additional pop-up sales. For example, we will be at Solberg Towers in early November. But our biggest goal is to increase memberships, which are very reasonable. Individual fee of $10 annually or $15 for a family. It is with a heavy heart that I notice none of the council members are part of this fine organization. Please be on notice that I am coming to recruit you in January. You can head this off by joining yourself at the MadisonHeights.org library page under Friends. Smiling, Mary Bush.
Thank you, Clerk, and thank you, Ms. Bush. All right, seeing how there's no other comments, I'm going to close that. And up next we have
There is another person with their hand raised, I think. It just on my screen, it says Pixel XL, but I don't know what the name is.
Yeah, I'm sorry. This is Jeff Hilliard.
I'm sorry, Mr. Hilliard. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Thank you very much. So Jeff Hilliard, 29091 Cherry. Hey, just wanted to say thank you to the mayor as well as the police chief for the statement. Kind of generally talking about violence and hate in the city of Madison Heights. With all that we have that's going well and good in the city, I would challenge the council to consider a broader statement on general hate and violence that we're seeing across the nation, and that we condemn, all forms of violence and hate within the limits of the city. Obviously, our beliefs go much beyond the city, but I think it's important for the council to make a statement that does not target any one specific group. I think there's a time and place for that, but in general, all violence that we're seeing in the tough times that we see today would be helpful in the conversations that go on around the city. Thank you.
All right, thank you. That will be noted. Mrs. Shepherd, do you have your hand up? Or is that by accident? No, okay. I saw a hand. Okay, no, he did not. All right. Okay, I do not see anybody else, so I'm going to close public comment. Okay, close public comment. Up next, we have communications, C1, the resignations from the DDA and the Brownfield redevelopment. Mrs. Marsh, do you have a report?
Yes, Johnny John and Marlene Spritzer have submitted their resignations from the Downtown Development Authority and the Brownfield Redevelopment Authorities. Staff recommends council accept these resignations and declare both of the seats vacant.
All right, thank you. What is the wish of council?
Your Honor.
Mr. Corbett.
Sorry, ma'am, I move that we accept the resignation with regret of Johnny John and Margene Spritzer from the Downtown Development and Brownfield Redevelopment Authorities respectively, and issue the appropriate resolutions of appreciation, please.
Thank you. Is there support?
Your Honor.
Councilor Warbach.
I support.
Thank you. Motion has been made and seconded. Is there any discussion?
Your Honor.
Mr.
Just a quick comment on the loss of the hopefully temporary loss of these individuals from our business community for the moment. I know Mr. John a little better just from around town a little bit, and I'm aware of the reasons. I think we all are that he is stepping out for the moment. But I hope that things get better for him individually in our business community in the DDA. He was a huge supporter of it. If you didn't know that Madison Heights had a DDA, he would certainly be the one to tell you all about it and promote it. He put not only his time and effort, but his money and so on in it. And thank you to Marlene. I know she was there for quite a while also. So thank you to both of them for their work. Hope to see you back in the system shortly and back up with business. And that's all. Thank you.
Great, thank you.
Your Honor.
Mr. Sherman.
Thank you. Thank you. I would ask the maker of the motion and support to include in the motion declaring both seats vacant as well.
I would include that by reference, ma'am.
Thank you. Mrs. Rohrbach, support that?
Yes.
All right, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Sherman. Okay, any other discussion? All right, and just a reminder, you do not need to be on any of our boards to help serve. Many of them have subcommittees, but thank you for the motion and the support. And Mr. Corbett, thank you for the discussion. Clerk, can you please take a roll call vote?
Councilman Gettings.
Mr. Gettings, you need to unmute.
Yes.
Thank you.
Councilor Rohrbach.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Soltis.
Yes.
Councilman Bliss.
Yes.
Councilman Corbett.
Yes.
Mayor Grafstein.
I vote yes, motion carries. Thank you. Next up for communication is the addition, which is for the DDA appointments. So I have, we received several applications for the DDA, and over the last few days, I've spoken to a couple of the applicants, and they both seem very interested and eager to serve on this board. So I would appreciate if someone could make a motion to appoint Yves Sandoval and Gordy Davignon. And I hope I pronounced those names correctly. Can I have a motion from council, please?
Your Honor, I would move to confirm the mayor's nomination of the two individuals that she so eloquently named.
Thank you. Is there support?
Your Honor.
Councilor Rohrbach?
I support.
Thank you. Is there any discussion?
Yeah, Your Honor, doing it that way, I can duck having to do it myself, but then leave it to you.
All right, is there any discussion?
Your Honor.
Yes.
I just wanted to let you know that one of the seats expires in 23 and one of them expires in 22. So just let me know which one.
Okay. Well, just the order I did it. So
okay.
Ms. Sandoval would be expiring in 23 and Mr. Davignon in 22.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for that. Okay, is there any other discussion? All right, and just for those of you who may not be aware, Eve Sandoval has been very active with the Bloom Project, which is a subcommittee of the ECC. I think she's recently joined the Arts Board, and she's already, I believe, joined one of the DDA subcommittees. And so I think she would be a great addition to that. She's already got some ideas. I think she's on the design, and she's got some ideas on what she wants to do with that. Gordy is one of the owners for Cadillac Straits, which, you know, is what, just over a year old. And so he's got some great ideas, and he's new, and this is the kind of business that we want to bring in and promote. So I spoke with him, and he's also very interested in joining. So I'm definitely going to be voting, obviously, in favor of these two individuals. But again, I just want to remind everybody that you can be active within the city. You don't necessarily need to be on the boards. We want to hear everybody's voice. Everyone has, you know, ideas. So, you know, Mr. Hilliard isn't on any boards, and he called in this evening with a good idea. So, you know, please just make sure that, you know, just because you're not chosen for a board, that you don't feel that you can't contribute. And with that, Clerk, can you please take roll call vote?
Yes. Councilor Rohrbach.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Soltis.
Yes.
Councilman Bliss.
Yes.
Councilman Corbett.
Yes.
Councilman Gettings.
Mr. Gettings. Can we use his thumbs up?
Your Honor,
Mr. Sherman?
he needs to unmute.
Mr. Gettings, please unmute. Okay.
I can see him saying yes. Okay, and Mayor Pro Tem, I'm sorry, and Mayor Grassi.
So I vote yes, thank you. Motion carries. Okay, next up we have reports. First up, item 1 from City Manager, resolution supporting.
Your Honor, Your Honor, just a point of order. He's unmuted now. Can we get his vote just for the record?
Thank you. Mr. Gettings?
Yes, I vote yes.
All right, thank you. Motion carries 6-0. Thank you, Mr. Bliss. All right, City Manager, do you have a report for the Medicare for All?
Your Honor,
Mr. Soltis?
before she does that, I'd like to make a motion to postpone this vote until next council session because Councilwoman Clark had an emergency. She wasn't able to be here. I think we should give her a chance to vote for it. She did second the motion, so.
Okay, so you would like to table this to next meeting?
I was told that not tabling, but postpone to the
Okay.
next council session.
Okay, that's fine. Do we need?
You need a motion and a
We
vote
need-
to do that.
Okay,
So
Mr. Soltis.
I'm sorry, I make the motion.
Okay, thank you. Is there support?
Ms. Kristin,
Your Honor.
Mr. Gettings?
I'll vote yes to support.
All right, to support postponing this?
Yes.
All right, thank you. Motion has been made and seconded. Is there discussion? Okay, Clerk, can you please take a roll call vote regarding the postponement of this resolution?
Yes. Mayor Pro Tem Soltis.
Yes.
Councilman Bliss.
Yes.
Councilman Corbett.
Yes.
Councilman Gettings.
Yes.
Councilor Rohrbach.
Yes.
Mayor Grasstein.
I vote yes. Motion carries. This will be postponed. Thank you. And next up, we have the report for the resolution declaring Indigenous Peoples Day. So we've pushed off public comment on this. Mrs. Marsh, do you want to make your report and then we can hear from the public, or how would you like to do this? Okay,
That's how it's planned.
perfect. Please go ahead.
The City Council has been requested to recognize the second Monday in October as Indigenous People Day in Madison Heights. A resolution by the City Council of the City of Madison Heights declaring the second Monday in October as Indigenous People Day. Whereas the City of Madison Heights recognizes the annexation of Ottawa, Ojibwa, and Potawatomi indigenous nations who have lived upon this land and value the progress of the society as accomplished through the Native American thought and culture. Whereas the city of Madison Heights recognizes the need to honor the city's Native American residents, Michigan's 12 federally recognized tribes, state historic tribes, and all indigenous people who come from across the Western Hemisphere to live and work within Madison Heights. And whereas the city of Madison Heights understands that in order to help close the equity gap, government entities, organizations, and other public institutions must change their policies and practices to better reflect the experiences of Native American people and uplift our country's indigenous roots, history, and contributions. And whereas the idea of Indigenous Peoples Day was first proposed in 1977 by a delegation of Native nations to the United Nations, sponsored by the International Conference on Discrimination Against Indigenous Populations of the Americas. And whereas in 1990, representatives from 120 indigenous nations from the First Continental Conference on 500 Years of Indian Resistance unanimously passed a resolution to transform Columbus Day into an opportunity to educate the rest of the country about the pre-existing indigenous cultures and have survived an often violent colonialization process and continue to exist and thrive in present-day America. And whereas in late September, Oakland County Board of Commissioners resolved to make October 12th Indigenous Peoples Day, and many American cities have already declared the second Monday of October Indigenous Peoples Day, including Detroit, Ann Arbor, Traverse City, Alpena, East Lansing, and Ypsilanti, to honor the culture, heritage, and contributions of Native Americans. And now, therefore, be it resolved that the city of Madison Heights shall recognize Indigenous Peoples Day, replacing Columbus Day on the second Monday of October. And it is also further resolved that the city of Madison Heights encourages all public offices and businesses in the city to refer to the second Monday in October as Indigenous Peoples Day rather than Columbus Day. And the city council urges all schools, school districts, children's educational programs in Madison Heights to join in the celebration of Indigenous Peoples Day with appropriate social, cultural, and educational activities, recognizing the historical and continuing contributions of the Native American people in our society. And we are joined tonight by Deborah Shepard, who presented a few minutes ago, Nicole Fox, and Becky Hill, who wanted to make presentations at this time. So Nicole
Okay,
Fox.
please, Nicole, go ahead.
Hello, everyone. OCO, that's hello in Cherokee. Particularly want to say hello to all my Madison Heights neighbors and friends. Again, I'm Nicole Fox. I'm Cherokee, and I'm a 15-year resident of Madison Heights. My husband and I moved here when I was 21. Him and myself and my two girls are proud to call Madison Heights our home. And I'm so proud today that the City of Progress is taking this step to recognize the first people of this land with this symbolic resolution. Many people don't understand the power of symbols. In our country, there are numerous symbols that reflect what we value as a nation. There are symbols that assign honor to acts of violence, to heroes, and to events. Symbols promote visibility and invisibility and help to shape how we think, who belongs, who wins, who is worthy, and what is important. Indigenous people have too long been made invisible, intentionally through a national agenda for most of our country's lifetime, and now also unintentionally by continuing that same narrative. It's important for us all every day to question, critically think about, and challenge these symbols, the words, the policies, and the actions that perpetuate that narrative, and to fix them. So I ask everyone to question whose story is this telling and whose story is missing? We should be telling the whole story and telling it from multiple perspectives. The perspectives that we hold as a nation impact how we think, how policymakers think, how teachers think. perspectives impact actions. These perspectives impact the policies that directly impact Indigenous people and impact the sovereign nations within the borders of the United States. It impacts the economic, health, and educational outcomes of our people. There are 574 federally recognized Indian nations in the United States. Additionally, there are state-recognized tribes located throughout the United States. There are over 150 different languages that are indigenous to this country. What percentage of people in our country know this? I appreciate that we're moving in the right direction in Madison Heights. Establishing the Human Rights and Equity Commission and now passing the Indigenous Peoples Day resolution are steps towards the future I want to see for my kids. All of our kids, regardless of their backgrounds, deserve the truth. I hope that we can keep this momentum, that this is just one of many steps that we'll take as a community to make our world, even our little part of the world, better. I hope that our public schools will critically look at curriculum, ensuring a balanced story, one that honors Indigenous people every day. I hope that as a city, we continue to ask those questions and update our symbols, our practices, and policies to ensure we leave this small part of our world better than we found it. And thank you to our hardworking council, mayor, and city manager.
Thank you. And you said there was Becky Hill. Was that the other person who wanted to speak? Ms. Hill, please unmute yourself. The floor is yours.
Hi, thank you. Hi, my name is Becky Hill, Haudenosaunee, Cayuga Deer Clan, Scano, means hello in Cayuga. Thank you for the opportunity to speak tonight, and thank you for the Anishinaabe peoples for letting me be a visitor on your land. This is not my homeland. It's New York State, actually. But I'm a mom of 4 and a proud citizen of Madison Heights. I have 2 children in elementary school and 2 children in preschool. I'm proud of my city as it shifts the focus from a day that celebrates settler colonialism to one that celebrates and acknowledges the resiliency of Native American and First Nations peoples. To take a day that is typically filled with half-truths or flat-out falsehoods and replace it with a focus on those who are Indigenous to Turtle Island is a long overdue step forward. It is my hope that not only will this change occur, but that in the future, our city will have a significant increase in community events on this day, as well as Native American History Month, which is next month. Thank you for your time tonight. And that's it. Have a good evening.
Great, thank you. All right. Thank you both. Is there anyone else who wants to speak specifically about this resolution? All right, seeing none.
Your Honor.
Mrs. Warbeck, hold on.
I see someone.
Oh, do you? I'm sorry.
Hey,
Oh,
my name is Erin. I am a Madison Heights resident since 2001, 30329 Westmore Drive. I am not Indigenous, but I was very pleased to find out today that Madison Heights is taking the progressive step of recognizing Indigenous cultures on this symbolic day. Even just observing the smiles on the faces of my neighbors who are Indigenous, and I can feel the pride coming from true representation. It makes me really happy to see, because First Nations people of the Americas have long had their history oppressed and erased by colonialism. Their cultures have continuously been depleted until some nations became extinct completely. Systemic oppression continues to harm Indigenous communities in the form of unfair legislation, reservation legitimacy disputes, and pipelines being built on Indigenous lands without consent, causing economic and environmental devastation and forced migration. Oil pipeline spills also go largely unreported and ignored to compound this ongoing trauma. Oppression of Indigenous cultures is still a current issue, is my main point. These are facts that we tend to gloss over by simply celebrating the history of one person who actually didn't discover a land that was uninhabited. It was inhabited by a very rich and intelligent network of nations. These reasons have led me to passionately support the resolution to make the second Monday of every October going forward Indigenous Peoples Day in Madison Heights. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Is there anyone else that I may have missed? Okay. Thank you, Councilor Rohrbach, for catching that. What is the wish of council?
Your Honor.
Your Honor,
Councilor Rohrbach.
I move that we accept by this for the city of Madison Heights to the second Monday in October Indigenous Peoples Day.
Thank you. Support?
Your Honor.
Mr. Corbett. Thank you. All right. Motion has been made and seconded. Is there any discussion?
Your Honor.
Ms. Please.
I think it's no secret that I brought this forward because it was something that is dear to my heart. So I want to thank my fellow council members and Madam Mayor for considering this proclamation. Woman of both Ojibwe Cherokee descent, I am honored to be able to bring this forward. This is an issue that has something that has been weighing on me almost as long as I can possibly remember. I understood from a very early age that the lessons that we were taught, that I was taught, and many of us were taught in school, were deeply flawed. And I was often frustrated that the only mention of Native Americans in our history books was when it's European colonization of this land, lumped all Indigenous people into a single group of savages that needed civilizing, or was tied to a language about, or to a legend about the Thanksgiving holiday. And they were often followed up with crafts and activities that demeaned and cheapened the sacred traditions of the Native people. I'm looking at you, stupid headdresses. The truth is, the Indigenous people of Michigan, many of whom, not all, because we move around, as Becky said, many of us consider, many people in this area consider themselves Anishinaabe. And the Anishinaabe include the Odawa, Ojibwe, Potawatomi people, and have lived in this land for millennia with a rich culture, sacred traditions, and a complex language. Many colonizers and settlers owe their very survival to the kindness and teachings of the First Nations people. And the stories of the Anishinaabe people are not just stories of things and people who existed long ago. No, we're in fact still here. We are children in our schools. We are doctors and graphic designers and store clerks and factory workers and city council members. We are the original people of this land, and the myth of discovery of the Americas has lingered far too long without challenge. Indigenous people have for far too long been told to get over it or to forget about the genocide of our people, like it was something to brush off, to get over it and smile and nod when our sacred traditions were cheapened and used as Halloween costumes or mascots or jokes. So this resolution today replaces Columbus Day with Indigenous Peoples Day, not because we want to change history, but rather I would like our city to be part of a movement to be more accurate to be more accurate with our history of our nation. Some people mistake this desire to be more accurate as a condemnation of the United States of America. I do not. I'm a person of faith, and my faith has taught me that we love our neighbors. We don't love our neighbors because they're perfect, and we don't love them only when they are perfect. No, we love them despite their flaws. And for me, this is similar to how I feel about this country. I love the United States of America, not because it's a perfect example of all things good. I love it despite its flaws. I love it, and so I work to make it better, even in little ways. And today I ask the council to approve this resolution, not because it will make all the flaws of our nation go away or will change history. No, I ask that we approve this resolution because we are a flawed nation and we can learn to do better. Instead of spending the day in reverence for a man who stumbled his way to the Caribbean and never actually set foot in mainland North America and proceeded to enact a genocide on the of the Caribbean, Central America, only to be mostly forgotten in his own time and later resurrected by a novelist in the 1800s as some kind of hero. Instead of that, let's use today to celebrate the deep, diverse, and enduring legacy of the indigenous people of this land. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Rohrbach. Does anyone else have any comments, anything you'd like to add? All right, seeing none. Clerk, can you please take a roll call vote?
Yes. Councilman Bliss,
Yes.
Councilman Corbett,
Yes.
Councilman Gettings,
Yes.
Councilor Rohrbach,
Yes.
Councilman Soltis.
Yes.
I'm sorry, Mayor Pro Tem Soltis, sorry. And Mayor Grafstein.
Vote yes, motion carries. Thank you. All right. Next up is minutes. So can I have a motion to approve the regular city council meeting minutes from September 28th?
Ms. Grafstein,
Councilman Gettings,
I make a motion to approve the minutes, council minutes from September 28th, is it?
yes. All right, thank you. Is there support?
Your Honor.
Mr. Soltis?
Support.
Thank you. A motion has been made and seconded to approve the regular city council meeting minutes from September 28th. Is there any discussion? All right, clerk, can you please take a roll call vote?
Councilman Corbett,
Yes.
Councilman Gettings,
Yes.
Councilor Rohrbach,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Soltis,
Yes.
Councilman Bliss,
Yes.
Mayor Grafstein.
I vote yes, motion carries. Thank you. All right, seeing how there is no more business before us, I invite closing comments, starting with Mr. Corbett.
Just a couple of very quick items. Congratulations to the group for the weekend festival on Saturday music and the art. That unfortunately we had a commitment that kept me away, but I'm sorry we missed it. But I've heard nothing but great stuff since then. It really speaks well to the community that you have this going on, even with all the pressure and the distractions going on in the world right now. So congratulations, Mark, and your fellow members of the committee. Also, too, I wanted to take up on Mr. Hilliard's suggestion earlier. I'd like to see a draft resolution put through regarding the many of the hate issues involving not really just our state, but the community as a whole in the country, and see what that resolution looks like and bring it forward at a sooner rather than later time. That's all I have this evening, everybody. Just stay dry tonight, I guess. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. Councilman Bliss?
Yes, Your Honor. Just wanted to thank everybody who did come out to the Trail Tunes event. I had mentioned earlier that everybody was so respectful and safe. And there was, obviously anytime you do any event, in even a normal year, there's always the potential for risk. And, this year is not a normal year, so the potential was pretty significant. And we even had people patrolling every sector of the festival, just making sure that, people were, distancing and safe. And we didn't have to remind anybody. I talked to all the volunteers who were walking around. 99.9%, everybody was just having a good time and doing it in a safe way. And so I think that this can be a model for what we can do going forward. Life stopped for a while. I think it's going to be great for us to start back up and do it in a safe way, and still find that little bit of normal in the new normal. And so I'm excited for that. I'm excited for the book sale this weekend. Building off of that, the Friends of the Library are doing a very safe, socially distanced book sale, as was mentioned by Mary Bush in public comments. And so I encourage people to go out and take part in that. Wear your mask, It's outside, it's going to be safe, and weather permitting, it will be dry. And so please, come out and support our library that way, and also do something that we would have done in any other year, but do it in a different way. That's it, Your Honor.
Great. Thank you. Councilor Rohrbach?
Yes, first, I just want to thank those who came and spoke in support of the Indigenous People Day. I didn't, in my comments, thank them enough. It brought tear to my eyes quite a bit during that time while people were speaking that. I also, everybody else's comments about the Trail Tunes event, excellent work to everybody. I especially want to thank Crystal Fox for putting together the native plant sale fundraiser that went on during that same time. A lot of folks just it was easy to kind of swerve in and out of from the music to the plants and then back, and it was really great. I believe, I can't remember the exact number, it was reported out at the ECC meeting, but I think it was about $1,300, between 13 and 16, I can't remember the exact number, that was raised after expenses. So for the native pollinator gardens in our city for the ECC. So I'm really excited about that. So thank you to Crystal for your work on that. And thank you everybody who staffed and came out. Thanks, I believe Dan Lee and Eve Sandoval were both very important helpers that day as well. We had a lot of fun and I appreciate your work. And then I want to also thank the members of the Madison Heights Community Coalition. Mr. Bliss and I attended their strategic planning meeting the other day, and some really important work going on there. And anybody who is interested in getting involved with them to reach out to Kimberly Heisler. And there are some really good things that you can do to help our youth and to improve the quality of life for every, if you are interested in that, please get in contact with Kimberly. And then this last week, I also attended with Chief Lito and the Oakway Fire Department, the fire ops training. I was able to don the entire fire gear from head to toe with masks and everything. And we spent the whole day actually going through the motions, putting out car fire, putting out dealing with hazmat situation. We drug a hose into a house and things that were, I have to tell you, I was done the next day. I was flat exhausted. But it was a lot of fun, informative, especially about some of the items the fire department that our council had in recent months to including the cleaning solutions and the things that they've been able to use to decontaminate the EMS units and the fire trucks and things like that. Just really remarkable. And all the firefighters that I spoke to were so appreciative of the work that that we've been able to give them and of funding these particular items. So I wanted to make sure that our council knows that they are, as a general rule, our fire department is remarkable. They do amazing work. Captain Powers was by my side most of the day, and just a really fantastic, phenomenal group of public servants and heroes for our community. So thank you to everyone on the Madison Heights Fire Department for including me and allowing me to participate in that. And I would encourage every single person on City Council, if you have the opportunity next year, please go and do this. It is eye-opening. And then everybody else has said what the other things I want to say. Besides, I'll preempt Mrs. Rotman and say, make sure that you make a plan to vote. The election is coming up in just, I think it's 22 days. And so if you are voting by absentee, make sure you fill it out, sign that envelope, and make sure you drop it off at the clerk, at the drop box or in the clerk's office. So that is all. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Sherman.
Honor, just real quick on a personal note, I want to thank the mayor and council and staff for their good wishes on the arrival of my granddaughter and my graduation to grandparenthood. 3 weeks old today. And that is it, Your Honor. Thank you all.
Thank you. Mrs. Marsh, you're on mute.
Okay. Yes, I have a few announcements. We're having a scarecrow contest citywide. If you're interested, you can contact the Active Adult Center, but the deadline for pickup on that is October the 16th at 3 o'clock. As Mary Bush mentioned, as well as Mark, the Friends of the Madison Heights Library is having their annual book sale this upcoming Saturday. The hours are from 10 to 4 on Saturday, and Sunday they're from noon to 4. And then the Madison Heights Art Board is having a fundraiser before our next council meeting at Panera Bread on 14 Mile and John R. It starts at 4 o'clock. So you can pick up, you can dine in, and they also do curbside and they deliver. So there's no excuse not to go to Panera Bread that night and raise some money for city arts. And then last but not least, on the Sunday before our next council meeting, the Arts Board is having a pumpkin walk at Civic Center Park. That's the 25th. It starts at 6:30. It lasts until 8. So bring out your best carved pumpkins and have another night of fun in the Civic Center Park. That is it.
Thank you. Mrs. Rotman.
Thank you. Just a couple election reminders. If you haven't received, if you want to apply for an absentee ballot, you can come into the clerk's office and you can get a ballot right there over the counter with your ID. You can also go online at the Secretary of State's office and fill out an online absentee ballot application, and that is forwarded directly to our inbox. And we can fill your request that way as well. Also, just a reminder that Precinct 2 has been moved to the Active Adult Center. So if you're in Precinct 2, please remember that that is where your voting location is. It's the same as it was in August, as well as Precinct 6, which is now at the Madison Elementary School. And then just a little statistical update. As of this afternoon, we have issued 7,976 absentee ballots, and we have 3,032 from back, which is the 38% return rate, which actually is pretty high for 3 weeks before the election. You can turn in your absentee ballot in person at the clerk's office. You can drop it in a drop box, or you can also drop it in the mail. If you are going to mail it back, it is a recommendation that you do so at least 2 weeks before the election. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Mr. Gettings.
Yes, Ms. Grafstein. I attended the Arts Festival and I was very impressed. I was only able to stay a few minutes, but it was a nice crowd. The weather cooperated somewhat. And I just want to say hats off to Mark and his committee and Vita Palazola for a nice job. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Soltis?
Thank you, Your Honor. First, I wanted to congratulate Councilor Rohrbach for initiating the resolution for Indigenous Day, replacing Columbus Day for Madison Heights. I think it's overdue and very poignant to write the accurate history and celebration, and you should be very proud. I also want to thank Jennifer, who runs the Senior Center, and her staff for arranging monthly food pickup and deliveries for our local seniors. She does a fantastic job with everything, but especially this. We all realize that during this very challenging time, we need to help our aging neighbors. So if you think that your neighbor could benefit from this service, please have them contact the Older Adult Activity Center. Talk to Jennifer. For me, I feel privileged to drive around each month doing the home deliveries of a box full of non-perishable goods. I think we have done this since the beginning of the pandemic, so I think it's going great. Also, I voted absentee ballot, so please vote. Do your duty. Thank you, Your Honor.
Great, thank you. Councilor Rohrbach, congratulations on not just the resolution, but for getting through the fire training. I did that last year with Mr. Corbett, and really gives you more insight, and it gave me a lot more respect for a group of responders I already had a lot of respect for, but wow. So hats off to you for doing that. Thank you. The ECC is going to be collecting denim to be recycled. They're going to be doing that at, they're doing it at City Hall. I'm not sure where else they're doing it, but I know that they're collecting at City Hall. They're doing that until November 20th. It needs to be 90% denim. So if you have any old jeans, if you're going through your clothes, if you want to drop them off here, that would be great. And we are doing Rake with the Mayor. This is something that we've done in years past. Somehow it got missed last year, but it's something I'm bringing back. So I've reached out to the school districts and to a couple of scout troops, but if there's anyone who is interested, really trying to, we'll take all ages, but really trying to get our youth involved. So anyone who is interested, please contact me. We're looking right now at doing this on November 7th in the morning. That's a Saturday with a rain date of the 14th. So if anyone is interested in helping with that, that would be great. It's basically, we get a list of seniors and some of our disabled residents who aren't able to do their own leaves, and we go out as a group and we get it done. And I want to take a moment for everyone just to think about something. Mr. Hilliard asked that we prepare some kind of resolution or proclamation against all violence. And I think it's a great idea. Mr. Corbett, you know, has asked for that as well. I want people to think about something. October is National Bullying Prevention Month, and it's National Domestic Violence Awareness Month. And what we heard today with Indigenous Peoples Day and what the Indigenous people have gone through and the systematic oppression they've had, a lot of that has been, you don't see it, whitewashed, so to speak. And I think that everybody needs to take a look at what's going on. And I think it's getting worse in our society, that people are just coming out and they're bullying. And what you need to remember is that bullies generally come from a place of weakness, and when they feel threatened, and you know, they feel that they need power, and that's how they take the power, is they bully someone, whether it's words or it's physical. And I think right now, with everything going on, there's a lot of anxiety. There's a lot of people who are, you know, they're at home, you know, the routine is shot. And so you've got people who are more anxious. And I think that we really need to take a look at everybody's mental health. So when you see bullying, you know, stand up to it, because it can start with emotional and it can start with mental. And just like domestic violence that can start with emotional and it can start with mental abuse, it can escalate and it can become violent. So on that somber note, I wish everyone a good 2 weeks, a safe drive home if you are leaving. I believe it's raining out. The time is 8:41 and the meeting is adjourned. Thank you.